Hide. Slideshow. Perfect.
Now, come.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you again to the second session of the day. We have the immense pleasure of having Dr. Aijaz A Dar with us. Sir is Assistant Professor Veterinary Medicine, Directorate of Extension, SKUAST, Kashmir. And the topic chosen for deliberation today is addressing health and nutrition concerns for profitable livestock farming. Sir, you are audible as well as visible, and your presentation is also visible. Please start, sir.
Thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to all of you, those who are connected with me right now this afternoon. And it is my pleasure that I have been asked to present a topic on addressing health and nutritional concerns for profitable livestock farming. And I thank organizers for.
Sir, Tagore accidentally mute Pan. Can you unmute yourself? Unmute. Alt tab key to press equal Alt key the tab key. You will come to Google Meet. How होता है? Google Meet Alt tab.
Yes.
Yes. Hello. Google Meet. Yes. Unmute. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Now continue with the presentation, sir. Perfect. Started.
So I was just saying that I must thank the organizing committee for giving me an opportunity to share my little experience I have working in SKUAST Kashmir with respect to the topic that addressing health and nutritional concerns for profitable livestock farming. And I'm sure that with this presentation, I will be sharing the work with respect to the Kashmir perspective. And maybe my colleagues from across the country as well as from the Kashmir will be giving me the feedback that how we should redefine how we should modify our research in the university, or how we can strengthen outreach with respect to the health and nutritional concerns of livestock farming, just with an aim, with the goal that how we can make the livestock farming a profitable, a sustainable enterprise. It's a brief about as a livestock as an engine of growth, as rightly put by the animal husbandry, dairy, and fishery sector. As you might be aware of this, that it contributes significantly to the GDP and the employment sector of the nation. Livestock sector and fisheries contribute 4.1% and 0.8% respectively to the GDP, and contributes about 25% to the GDP from agriculture and allied sectors. So this much of contribution from the livestock sector to GDP, agriculture and allied sectors is huge. So that means we do have the potential to contribute to the national economy, but provided we invest our efforts, we redefine our priorities in agriculture and allied sectors.
Again, you are muted. Can you unmute, sir?
Yeah.
Do you press some button or something? You have to go to Google Meet and you are muted also.
I don't know how it is going, but
Please continue, sir. Please continue now.
okay. So is it okay? I will put the slideshow like this.
No challenge, no problem.
Okay. So according to World Food Organization estimates, every rupee invested in livestock sector of India, it potentially yields 4 times its value. Therefore, it is pertinent to say.
Muted again. Hello? Yeah.
Sir, full screen, please, sir.
There, some Manish Pandey is there who is muting me. I'm not
Just let me remove them.
Okay, Manish Pandey, because I'm getting the message that Manish Pandey is muting me.
Hello. Actually, sir, there is a network problem. I'm not hearing.
Please don't press on the audio of the
Okay,
guest.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Otherwise, I would have to remove.
Okay.
So thank you. If I come back to the presentation,
Sir,
according
can you
to
start the slideshow, because some people are using mobile phones. The size decreases.
okay, is it
Perfect.
okay?
Yes,
Okay,
perfect.
thank you. So I was talking about the sector, the potential of this livestock sector in India. According to World Food Organization estimates, every rupee invested in livestock sector potentially yield 4 times its value. So it is pertinent to say that there are myriad of opportunities in livestock sector to double the farmers' income by 2022. So, my dear friends, if I talk of the Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir perspective, there is a huge opportunities in livestock sector given the geographic conditions, given the climatic scenario, given the food habits we do have in Jammu and Kashmir. And I believe that there are ample opportunities in livestock sector, and especially when we say that more than 50% of the people are associated with the livestock sector. So if we contribute to the best potential in the livestock sector, we believe that we can double, not only double, we can increase the income of the farmers more than double by 22, especially which is the slogan of the Prime Minister of India, Honorable Prime Minister of India, that we have to double the income of the farmers by 2022. And I believe that the livestock sector has the potential to contribute, and it all depends upon how we put our efforts and how we shape the livestock sector, how we prioritize our research, how we strengthen our outreach, how we motivate the farming community to take up this sector and find and have a viable solution in this to come out of this economic slump. So just a bit, because my topic is related to the health and nutrition of the animals, I will talk just a bit what we mean by the health and how we can just recognize that some animal is not healthy. So basically, doesn't mean that if we go by the traditional definition of the health, that it is just an absence of the disease. Perhaps we are not right in that, and we will not be doing the justice with the livestock sector, and perhaps it will not be so much remunerative. So if we have the definition correctly, if we understand the definition of the health correctly, maybe we may make this sector a better one. So there are different categories of health definitions put forward by many scholars. I just brief about you that health as a normality. That means the animal should have normal features, including the normal body position and movements. If you observe that the animal is walking, doesn't maintain the balance, does not move properly, so we should at that time, despite of obvious abnormalities or despite of that much of drop in the production, we should consider that the animals are not healthy, they have some underlying disease condition. Now, health as a biological function, it means that apparently we are observing an animal and it looks, or a herd or a flock, it looks apparently normal, nothing is wrong, but the production is slightly low. That's lower production gives us an indication that something is wrong with the animal, though not apparently. That means there is some disruption or interruption in the bodily function of certain organs. Okay, that we call as health as a biological function. Then health as homeostasis. This is very, very important. When the organism comprising the mind and the body is out of the harmony within itself or with the environment, then we have the state of the disease. Literally, we believe that if as an individual or if as a livestock is not in harmony, is not in peace with the environment, something is wrong with the environment, that wrong in the environment will put distress to the animal, and the animal will not perform to its optimum potential. We say the animal will suffer from the disease. Then health as physical and psychological well-being. If we take this definition of physical and psychological well-being with the animals, that especially applies with respect to the pet animals. This especially applies with respect to the health of the human beings, that it is a state of complete physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Let's If we apply this definition of health as physical and psychological well-being to the animals, especially to the domestic animals, we believe that it doesn't fit to the definition of the domestic animals, because they are more or less subordinate to human interests, and there we apply a different criteria of or different definition of the health in animals as productivity, including the reproduction. So that is very pertinent, that is very, very important. If just considering the nature of the animals, the use of the animals. For example, that health as psychological well-being, we can apply it to the pets or the non-producing animals. But in case of the productive animals, in case of the farm animals, we believe that the health is more accurately regarded as a state of maximum economic production. Here also, I would like to mention that if we have a herd, for example, we do have a crossbred Jersey herd, we have a Holstein herd, and we believe that it has the potential, genetic potential to produce 10 kgs of milk. I'm taking an example, citing an example of the one cow. It has a potential to produce 10 kgs in a day, and we are providing optimum nutrition to the animals. Then that animal should produce to the expected potential, then only we can say the animal is healthy. However, I will come later on. There are certain diseases we call as the subclinical diseases where there may be a sort of aberration in its production, and that can give us a hint that the all is not well with the animals, all is not well with the herd. So a healthy animal grows, reproduces, and behaves in a manner which has come to be regarded as normal for its species and time. So, for example, we have a dairy herd. The animals do not kick, the animals do not butt. If it is not, if it is the vices are growing in animals, we believe that the animals are not healthy. So, what is normal for that species and type of that animal, that should be observable, that should be visualized by, that should be appreciable, then only we can say the animal is healthy, then only we can say the animal will reproduce, that we call as the animals are healthy. Now, if we have a slightly a modified health definition related to the productivity, that includes, that takes care of the complete diet, the provision of a complete diet and environment that is optimal for the animal's physiological needs, very, very important, comfortable to the animal senses, in which the animal is secure and free from fear and with no undue challenge by pathogenic microorganisms or predators. My dear friends, I'm talking about the environment that is optimum for animals' physiological needs. Those who are students of epidemiology or students of veterinary medicine, they know, understand that we call it as an epidemiological triad, where we believe that there's host, there is agent, and there is environment. If there's a balance between these three factors, host, agent, and environment, there we say the host will be healthy, the environment or the pathogen will not induce a disease in the hosts. But if something wrong goes with the environment, it may induce a disease in the host. Or if there's an overlapping of the environment, that will also induce the disease in the host. Let me cite an example of COVID-19. So far, by the literature, we believe that this COVID-19 has occurred because of the shifting of the organisms, or because of the challenge of the organism microorganism coronavirus 19, SARS coronavirus 2, that has from the wild animal into come into the intermediate host, and with a decade long exposure to of the hosts, susceptible hosts to that intermediate host, then that organism has shifted from intermediate host to the humans, and very, very unfortunately, then that organism has maintained human to human transmission and has led to such a devastating pandemic. So an environment that is optimal for animals' physiological needs. So we have to maintain that balance with the host, with the agents, and is secure and free from fear. We believe that if we provide a citrusful environment, be it the winter citrus, be it the summer citrus or heat citrus we call, to the animals, my dear friends, do you believe that the animals will perform to their productive potential? No, not at all. So we have to ensure that not the cold citrus, not the heating citrus, not the feeding citrus, not the nutritional citrus should be put on to the animals. Then and only then our animals will perform to their potential. So now coming to the disease, I was talking about the spectrum of the health. Similar fashion, we do have the disease as a spectrum. It is not absolutely the disease is not well, it is a spectrum. We have a mild disease, we have a moderate disease, we have an acute disease, we have subacute disease, we have subclinical, we have clinical. So that is very, very important. So disease, I just simply here I want to emphasize that if an animal fails to produce at expected level of nutritional supply and environmental quality, then we say there's a disease in the animals. Even the detection of residues, some may be telling that what we have to do with it, this is very, very important with respect to the pollution. And I will be just quoting an example of the work done we are doing with respect to this definition of the disease. The detection of residues of disqualifying chemical in foods of animals.
Can you unmute, sir? This time I don't think anyone muted. Hello? Can you unmute, sir?
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
So the detection of the residues I was talking about of disqualifying chemical like DDTs that have been banned. So if we use enormous quantity of pesticides in crops, in horticulture sector, and that residues will come into the human chain, then we also say that there is a disease. I'll cite an example of the Kashmir Valley. In Kashmir Valley, the medicos have detected more cases of the cancer in the population who reside in the apple belt because of the enormous use of the pesticides. And those pesticides or those chemicals are then coming into the food chain, especially they believe that they are coming into the such and such foods of the origin, plant origin. Then they will also come into the animal origin. I'll be citing, we are just also getting the concentration of the lead beyond the maximum permissible level in certain areas where we do have the industries set up, or we do have the brick elements. Then finally they will come into the human chain. So if such thing is there, then we also say the plant, the animal that is diseased. So this also falls into within the scope of the disease. Now, basically, I will be focusing on the dairy sector and some points with respect to the sheep sector as well, sheep husbandry, with respect to the sheep husbandry as well. If we see the key strategies for growth of the dairy sector, this will apply to throughout the country. This will apply to Jammu and Kashmir, especially of the Kashmir Valley. And extension of the dairy development activities in non-operational flood, hilly and backward areas. I have had the opportunity to work in some frontier district of Kupwara, where I observed that we need to strengthen our outreach, especially in hilly and backward areas. And if we as a professionals, veterinary professionals, agricultural professionals, scientists, with respect to the fodder scarcity, we improve our extension, we improve our outreach, we improve our contacts with the farming community, definitely these sectors, be it the dairy, be it the sheep husbandry, it definitely will take a boost. And quality feed and fodder through promotion of good varieties, fodder crops, and fodder trays. My dear friends, I will be sharing the slide with you. And the important concern, the important constraint in animal and sheep husbandry in our Kashmir Valley is the lack of the provision of the quality feed and fodder, because we don't have that good varieties of the fodder crops and fodder trees. A lot of research is being going on by the Indian Grassland Fodder Research Institute, doing a pretty good job. And our agriculture colleagues, scientist colleagues are also doing a wonderful job in respect to this. But still, we are not coping up. We are not catching what we need. So there is a lot of potential investment. There is a lot of employment opportunities in taking up this sector, feed and fodder sector as well. Then animal health promotion is vital to dairy development. As a medicine specialist, I believe that if you have to promote the reproductive efficiency, if you have to promote the production potential of the animals, then you have to focus on the animal health activities. I was just citing an example of working in the district Kupwara, and once I moved into the different areas, I believe that we are not giving a special emphasis or focus on the animal health activities. A simple activity of deworming, a simple activity of vaccination will, I believe, it has a lot of potential. It can transform the livestock sector. I will be just showing what we in this regard. Why I'm focusing on simple two things, that is the deworming of the animals as well as the vaccination of the animals. And we are also lucky that internationally we are celebrating and deworming day in case of the human. And if we translate that into the livestock sector, earmark a day for deworming of the livestock, earmark a day, that day for deworming of pets, of deworming of human beings. I'm sure that this livestock sector will show its potential in real sense. Then educate animal health cover services. We have to give focus on this rendering of dead animals to prevent zoonosis. Zoonosis, that like diseases that are transmitted from animals to the humans and humans to the animals. Those are zoonoses. And there are ample number of examples of diseases that are transmitted from animals to the humans and vice versa. But provided if we render the dead animals appropriately, scientifically, we'll be preventing the zoonosis, we'll be preventing the environmental pollution, and we'll be creating the wealth out of that waste. Today is a concept of creation of wealth from the waste. So we have to, those policymakers, okay, we have to float such proposals where we can convert this waste into the wealth and simultaneously prevent the important zoonotic diseases as well as take care of our environmental assets. Now, the important point I had highlighted in the earlier slide was the feed and fodder management. Now, how we can improve that feed and fodder management? Number one is the development of the community wastelands. I don't know the scenario of other states. In our Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the community wastelands are shrinking very fast. That puts an additional burden on the livestock sector. That makes our livestock sector go from the rangeland system to the intensive system or semi-intensive system. That increase the cost of rearing. So if we develop those community wastelands, I'm sure that the traditional system of rearing of the livestock, which is, I'm sure, which I believe that is very, very profitable and sustainable, that can improve. So we have to think of development of the community wastelands. Increase in forage yields. So if we have a forage crop, if it is not yielding good biomass, if it is, we are not able to harvest the quality seeds out of it, then it will also again increase the cost of investment. So we have to take care of these two factors as well. One is the forage yield, that is the biomass, as well as the supply of the quality seed. So if my colleagues in the IGFRI are working, they should focus on the fodder varieties having a good biomass, as well as where we can have a quality seed. I will be sharing just some examples of our interventions in the sector. Then improvement of the nutritional value. I'll be just talking about the Kashmir Valley, where feeding the paddy, etc., and my colleagues who are the nutritionist specialists, they're saying that it has zero nutritional quality. It's just feeding the bulk. So we need to have the strategies. I was just listening some other day that how we can improve the quality of the paddy, etc. That is the urea molasses treatment and other things, or we can reduce the waste by simple chaffing of the grass. So these things we have to work on. And second, this paddy, etc., is associated with more number of cases of facial disease in large and small animals. Here we have to focus. So if we take care of this nutritional value of the paddy, etc., which is abundantly available with the farmers of the Kashmir Valley, I'm sure that we can reduce the cost of inputs, especially on the nutrition of the animals and our sector, that will be profitable. Then complete feed rations. We need to have so many on so many occasions. Our progressive farmers, they have raised this question that they are demanding that this we need to have the feed mills, we need to have the feed centers. We always depend on the importation of the feed from the outside resources, or especially the raw material from the adjacent neighboring states. That again increase the cost of rearing. So we need to focus on the development or establishment of the feed mills, so that it will cater to the district needs and the cost of investment will be lower. Then fodder bank. Can we think of establishing the fodder banks? My colleagues who are working with this, they can, for example, we do have the dairy farms. Unless and until we have the fodder banks for taking care of the lean periods, how can we expect that this farming will be remunerative for the farmer? So we have to think of this, because most of the time, for 3-4 months is a scarce period in Kashmir Valley. If we talk about the Kashmir Valley, it starts from September, October, November, December, January, and February. These are the 6 months we are having the lean period. So here we cannot rely on just stall feeding of the animal. So we have to think well before the time this time comes up, that we have to think in the spring and summer that we have to harvest. We need to have such banks for the lean periods of autumn and harsh winter. So these water banks will play a critical role in timely supply of feed to livestock owners during the drought years. Now, my dear friends, coming to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, is this picture visible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. So if we see how much we are deficient in dry fodder is 27%. So not that big a problem in dry fodder is concerned. But see the deficit in green fodder, 67% we are deficit in green fodder. We are just having 3-4 months of availability of green fodder, where and the animal production reaches to its peak. And so this 65-7% deficit in green fodder we have to concentrate and we have to address. Then deficit in concentrates, we are deficit in 85%, we are deficit in concentrates. So a huge, I believe, the potential of investing in such sectors, in establishing the small scale feed mills, or through the help of the self-help groups, we can address such issues, or through the help of the agri-scientists who can develop a good quality fodder that can remain green for a pretty longer time. So That is the point we need to those of my colleagues who are working in the universities in the development departments who are connected right now with me from Kashmir Valley or Jammu region. We need to focus on together. We need to focus on such issues: deficit in green fodder and deficit in concentrate. If we cannot focus on the concentrates, at least we should focus on the deficit in green fodder and how better we can address that. This slide, I'm just going to, I'm sharing the data of my doctorate degree where I was assigned to work on this aspect. Basically, we're checking the mineral concentration, micromineral concentration of the available feed and fodder in the northeastern region of this Kashmir Valley. Selected certain districts, certain pockets. It was a multi-stage cluster sampling. I will be just see, you see, if I'm just highlighting it, oats, it is deficient in zinc. You see 17 ppm concentration when the critical concentration of the zinc is 30 ppm in the fodder. Okay, now and again you check it, iron critical concentration is 50 and we are getting around 200 300 concentration of the iron, and I'm sure that this is the because of the high iron concentration and we are having less copper in the feed. Such is an interaction. Those who are nutritional scientists to say they know well aware about this interaction, but I'm just highlighting. See the concentration of the zinc in the oats. Our oats are deficient in zinc. You see ampicherry, deficient in zinc. White clover, okay, it is high in copper as well as it is near about the critical concentration. Red clover again. One, this is very, very important, which I want to highlight. When I visited certain areas, marshy areas, and the farmers revealed that when we feed the animals that local grasses, like the nar grass, they call it locally, I have put it the local name, and wupai, these two grasses, the animal produces more. My dear friends, you just see the concentration of the copper. No doubt we have a little bit of less zinc in wupai, but in nar grass, you see copper is adequate above the critical concentration. You see narcos above the critical concentration, and in that belt, you see the animal productivity and reproductive efficiency was good. So we have less. We don't have the deficiency of copper in those areas. This is very, very important. And most of the areas that I have collected the samples, it is critically deficient in zinc. It is deficient in copper. You see our wheat bran, what we are feeding to the animals regularly, twice a day we are feeding it to the animals. It is less, it is around 6 ppm when the critical concentration is 10. It is deficient in zinc when the critical concentration is 30. We have only 24, we have only 22. You see the rice bran, which is locally available here around the year. It is, it is, see the deficiency of the zinc. It is only around 4 ppm when we need the critical concentration of 10 ppm. Maize crushed, what we are offering to the animals. So my point of concern here is whatever we are offering to the animals, say the exception of a couple of grasses, local grasses, we are feeding a nutrient deficient, a mineral deficient feed and fodder to the animals. And how can we expect that animals will perform to their full potential? So here, for all the nutritionists, for all the health professionals, we need to together we need to invest our efforts, see how we can improve the health of the soil, how we can, once we ensure the health of the soil, how we can ensure the healthy plant, how we can ensure the healthy fodder, how we can ensure the nutrient rich fodder. And once we ensure that nutrient rich fodder, we are ensuring adequate nutrition to the animals, and we are definitely ensuring the optimum production of the animals. Now, dear friends, if you see the percent samples we have observed during that time, how how much the fodder is deficient in, you see, we do have the 4 seasons in Kashmir Valley: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. This autumn and winter I was talking about is very, very lean period or critical period for the production potential of our animals. The animals production reduces drastically in this autumn and winter. And you see the reason, quite obvious reasons in autumn and winter. 88.57% of the feed and fodder, they are deficient in copper. 97% of the feed and fodder are deficient in zinc. This is very, very, this is, I believe, shocking figures. This is a critical, we have to address these figures. And if we don't pay attention towards this fact, the feed and fodder we are offering to the animals during this autumn and winter, and how can we expect the animals to perform to their production potential? And how can you make this sector a profitable sector? How can you lure people towards this venture? So these are the challenging situations for us, and I'm sure that together we can make a difference. Both agricultural scientists, veterinary scientists, then national centers, especially this Indian Grassland Fodder Research Institute, they can we can join hands and just ponder upon it, just think upon it, and just try to improve their animal nutrition in these lean periods. Now, maize as a green fodder. Why I will be talking about a little bit of maize as a green fodder, because we took just one initiative in SKUAST Kashmir, and that is also in collaboration with certain institutes across the state. That we are using a variety of the seed, a variety of the maize that is called as we have developed a variety that has also been recently recommended for release as well. That is KDFM1, we call it as Shalimar Fodder Maize 1. And the important thing with respect to this Shalimar fodder maize 1 is good biomass we do have with this KDFM1, as well as it has less anti-nutritional factors, high biomass I have also observed, and a good palatability in the animals. I will be just share see. My dear friends, those who are working on the nutritional aspect of the animals, or who are working as a plant breeding geneticists, if we are those who are working in with the grassland fodder research institutes across the country, though if we have to observe the plants, if for example we have to think of the research on the grain, or for example we do have the quality protein maize available, there we don't have to focus. Our research should not be oriented towards the number of the leaves, leaves that we have the per plant in that variety. We have to focus on the leafy part. In case, for example, the two pictures on your screen, the right one is good for the silage, the right one is good for the fodder of the animals, the left one is good for the grain. So these things you have to take into the consider. Here we have 10 functional leaves, or more than that, I have marked 10 functional leaves. Okay, so that thing needs to be taken care while working on the fodder. So let's talk about this Shalimar fodder maize 1. KDFM1 is quick growing, high yielding, palatable, nutritious. So, see what we have in Kashmir Valley, we have the different varieties. We are using African tall, the seeds we procure from outside this JNK. And here, days 50% flowering is 150 and 120 days. So by the time it reaches to the 50% flowering, and which is considered as the best optimum time for feeding to the animals, we do have a dip in the temperatures, day and night temperatures. And because of the sharp decline in the temperature, we are not able to harvest it. It is seeds, and every time we have to rely on the import of the seed. So that is a major constant with respect to the African tall. Otherwise, not that much of difference if we go by the nutritional parameters. But in case of the KDFM1, what they were expecting initially, that it will have around 80 days for 50% flowering. In my studies, I have observed a little different, but maybe because the soil health is not adequate in those conditions where I had laid the trials. I'll be sharing this. So, my dear friends, you pick. This was when we had in our valley non-COVID and COVID restrictions. Then I was posted in the frontier district of Kofara, and we at Krishi Vigyan Kendra, we thought that no, we have to address this feed and fodder issues, and especially with respect to the fodder. We devised a plan that we got a permission from the district administration, though no, yeah, you allow us to carry agriculture activities, or we will follow the SOPs as well. We went to the farmers' doorsteps, distributed the KDFM1 seeds, distributed the oats, that one African tall there, so that we selected the progressive farmers, we selected the farmers having the dairy field, or we selected those pockets where they have the potential in the dairy sector. So once we selected that, we distributed the seeds to the farmers in certain areas. And this one, the down picture, right down picture, last picture, you see the scientists from Indian Grassland Research Institute that is located at Srinagar. With the help of that, we also distributed perennial seeds of the perennial grasses. We conducted certain farmer scientist interactions in district Kufara. The overall aim was to reach out to the farmers with the good quality seeds that has a promising nutritional value, and which can help us make the livestock sector a potential sector to invest and potential sector to venture into. So these represents the pictures we did during the COVID and non-COVID restrictions. This represents, though I'm a veterinary medicine specialist, I took help of the agronomists, I took help of the agri-scientists working with me, understanding the seeds, sowing of the seeds, the row to row distance, the plant to plant distance for seed, that is a separate distance. Then I was made understood the in case of the fodder, the seed to seed distance, the row to row distance, plant to plant distance, the density of the plantation, the application of the fertilizers like the urea, potash, and other things. So this I'm highlighting what we did, and we were also evaluating my colleague agronomist who told me that how we can collect the biomass, how we can just take care of the biomass, evaluate the quality of this fodder KDFM1. So he told me just we selected this much of area square meter, then we see the leaf weight, stem weight, internodal distance, number of nodes. Okay, then green fodder yield we calculate on that. That is very very important because we put it as a we use it as a green fodder. Our important aim is to use it as a green fodder and to have an extended life. Or if we have a good biomass, the maize is an excellent variety for conversion into the silage. So we can later convert it into the silage. These are just, it represents how we evaluated. This represents a trial at a dairy farm with respect to the African doll. But the problem with respect to the African doll, as well as told earlier, is that we have to rely on the procurement of the seeds every year because that is sown in case of the first week of the May, but KDFM1 it is sown in first or second week of the May, and it is harvested earlier, so we can have the plots designated or air market for harvesting of the seeds. So again, these two pictures, this represents the picture of the progressive farmer. You see the height attained by this KDFM1, and you see the liking, the palatability, the consumption by the dairy animals. This is a progressive dairy farmer, and he has been also awarded by the government of India as well as the government of Jammu and Kashmir. And that represents the farmer scientist interaction. Just our aim is to link, to develop a liaison with all concerned institutions for the benefit of the farmers. Dear friends, in the COVID, I got a little bit of time to highlight certain activities, especially I will focus on the fodder maize for profitable dairying in Kashmir Valley, just because the moment was restricted, trying to reach out to the farmers through the print and electronic media, that yes, we have the availability of fodder maize that will help us in the dairying sector. Also, the value of the vaccination, I try to highlight the value of the vaccination through this article, just to make aware my pet owners, make aware my farmers about the value of the vaccination. And most of the you might be observing or highlighting it, that thinking that why not it put into the local language. We are putting it into the local language as well through folders, through flyers, but this is the paper that has the maximum circulation in Kashmir Valley. And to reach out to the farmers, to reach out to the people, to reach out to the policymakers, to reach out to the scientists through that was a viable one. And I believe we have highlighted the value of the vaccination. Then we have also highlighted the fodder maize. We have also highlighted the SKUAST Kisan Mela that is observed yearly in SKUAST Kashmir, where there is technological demonstration, where we have a good planting material available, good quality seed available, just to intimate the farmers, to tell the farmers, please do come to these events, to the universities. You can get benefited. We are for you only. Then also I got opportunity to write on this coronavirus from the viewpoint of an epidemiologist, as well as COVID-19 disruption in education. I being the teacher, I was greatly distressed by not seeing any academic activity throughout the globe, but we thought of initiating an online activity through these, and I highlighted the role of the online activity, and later it was also started. And also to reach out to the people through my poem, just how better we can do. Now, coming back to the KDFM1 I was talking about, see, the scientists, the plant breeding geneticists are expecting it to have that days of this 20% flowering, but what I observed in our study was 120 days. And again, this gives us a clue that you look into the soil health. Maybe our soil health, maybe that area where we laid the trial, that is not fit for this. Maybe you will be thinking that why did you lay that trial on that? But the Krishi Vigyan Kendra, which is located, we have to put the trial first in our Krishi Vigyan Kendra so that we see evaluate that variety in our farm, then we can go for the popularization in the farmers field related to the, this is I'm talking about the Krishi Vigyan Kendra farm. But if we see the performance, you might have seen, observed in the pictures as well. I just will come back. You see the performance in the farmers field. They are taking the care, they are following the scientific directions, and it is performing very good there. And you see the green fodder yield per square meter, 7.2 kgs. That is a good biomass. That is very, very important. But yes, as a scientist, what was disturbing for me when we evaluated it for zinc, iron, and copper, because my research from my PhD has been around these micro minerals and heavy metals. You see the concentration of the iron; it is 8 times the critical value. Sorry, 4 times the critical concentration. You see the copper concentration; it is way below 10 ppm. That is the critical concentration. It is around 4. So our fodder, again, this variety. So we have to think of enriching the soil. You see zinc, 21. We need 30 ppm minimum. So then we thought of having a trial where we can apply the zinc salts and the copper salts. We will see that data I will be sharing if I get an opportunity some time later. So you see the critical concentration is like what we are getting. Emphasis should be we are having in our feed in fodder, we are having high iron, and we are having low zinc and critically low copper. Now, this was basically the nutritional aspect. Now, coming to the health aspects, my dear friends, while moving into the different areas, what I observed there, I got an opportunity to investigate certain outbreaks, especially the acute fasciitis that occurred because of the abrupt and untimely snow, heavy snow was there. The disease precipitated in the animals, and after it was investigated, it came out to be acute fasciitis. Acute fasciitis taking the heavy toll in the large animal sector as well as the small animal sector. Should it in the contemporary times happen? If we give emphasis to the simple step of deworming, it won't happen. So there we reached out to the farmers through print and electronic media, highlighted the role of the simple deworming and how simple deworming step can prevent the death of the livestock, promising livestock. Enormous mortality was there in the sheep and goat as well as the large animals because the owners were not aware of the deworming. So we need to strengthen our extension system. Those my colleagues who are medicine specialists, please focus on these two simple aspects. Let nutritionists take care of the nutrition. Let we as a medicine clinicians or physicians focus on these two important aspects, be it the research, be it the academics, be it the extension, that's the deworming and vaccination. And what we did in that through Krishi Vigyan Kendra, we took a mission, deworming and better livestock health. It was that's just to double the farmers' income. It was done in collaboration with the animal and sheep husbandry departments. And we're very, very thankful to the leading veterinary pharmaceutical companies like Verbac, then DAS, then Zydus, okay, Vitaquinol. They came forward, rendered their help, and we prepared the packets. We made this a slogan: "You support us, okay, and we'll support you." And we, with the help of those pharmaceutical companies, but we made them aware what the problem is with our livestock, what the problem is with our area. Then we had different scientist interactions highlighting the need of the regular deworming of the livestock, highlighting the role of the strategic deworming of the livestock, highlighting the importance of the vaccination in the livestock. Through SKUAST melas and other activities, we try to convince the farmers with respect to these certain health measures. And with the help of these leading pharmaceutical companies, we prepared the packets of the medicine that include the deworming agents, that included the liver tonics, that included the copper and zinc mixtures. We distributed it among the farmers, be it the women farmers, be it the male farmers. We distributed it in district Kupwara. with this aim that our livestock, the health of the livestock will be good, then only the production and reproductive efficiency of the livestock will be assured. And again, this represents what we did. And again, through that newspaper, we also highlighted this role of the deworming in doubling the farmer's income. So this represents certain activities of ours at that Krishi Week. I then posted in Krishi Week and Kendra. Now, right now, I'm posted in the Directorate of Extension. So our aim is, our focus is on the extension right now to highlight the importance of these health measures with respect vis-a-vis the health of the livestock sector. And I'm sure that what I want to convey is not just, I'm just trying to just convince you with this talk that we are doing a little bit of effort in this direction. Please join us in this endeavor so that our livestock sector will be a potential livestock sector for all of us. You see, during these restriction times when there was no physical or little physical activity, we did certain online activities to highlight the role of the One Health. You can just, and we also distributed certain elite germplasm of the chicks to the progressive farmers, just to ensure the nutritional security of the households, just to ensure that people are lured towards this poultry sector as well. Just, we also provided them the feed so that there will be then horizontal expansion of this sector. We also highlighted, observed so many days online, especially the World Egg Day, then World Health Day, as you observe, then World Veterinary Day. We also observed online just for information dissemination and sharing of this research of the university or universities or technologies developed by the university. Regarding the World Wildlife Conservation Day, we also celebrated just to highlight the significance of having a better liaison with the wildlife department. It was the wildlife that was responsible for this COVID-19. So we have to have a better liaison with all the concerned departments. Then the livestock sector, then the agriculture sector will contribute more to the national GDP. Then only the livestock sector will contribute more to the agriculture. Okay, this represents, you see the last three pics. I'll be just highlighting this activity. My student is working, we are working on the influence of the brick kilns on soil, plant, animal health. Basically, once we did a survey in that areas where we had a decade-long exposure of the animals or the agricultural activities taking place near these brick kiln areas, then we had a survey. The animal productivity was not optimum. The reproductive efficiency was not that good. There were high incidence of infertility was there. Then we thought something is wrong because of this brick kilns. Then we took up this study of evaluating the soil. We took up the study of evaluating the fodder grown and ultimately the feed got from that, and that is the wheat, rice bran out of that. And then we also took the samples from the animals to evaluate their health status. So for that purpose, what we did, that we categorized or divided that area, agriculture area, just under the influence of these brick kiln activities into the three zones: 0 to 250 meters distance, 250 to 500 meters, and 500 meter to 700 meters, to see whether if there is a high impact up to 250, tomorrow we can recommend no agricultural activity should take place up to this area. Or if at all there is no influence, we can recommend that yes, there is no influence of brick kiln on the soil, plant, animal health. Like that, we took up the study. And once we observed that this is in the final stage, but the inputs I'm getting that the fodder is deficient in copper. We have not 4 times iron, we have 8 times, we have 10 times iron, the critical concentration. That's again a problem. We have lead above the maximum permissible level. And we have certain samples where cadmium is also detected. That depends on that depends on the fuel that is being used in these brick kilns. And the animal productivity, what we did then, we had a matched control some 1.5 kilometer away, not influenced by the brick, not under the influence of this brick kilns, that is away from the highway, just for comparison purpose. And we also started a trial then in those animals where we got such low zinc, then low copper, high this lead. Obviously, the low calcium will be there in the animals. So more chances of the milk fever will be there. More chance of or symptoms of, but apparently If you see, we are getting only certain second problems. We are getting the infertility cases more, not the clinical cases of the milk fever or calcium deficiency. Okay, so then we laid a trial on that. We dewormed the animals basically. First, we dewormed the animals in that particular, in that selected area, then provide a supplement, mineral mixture supplement, and to our surprise, and the productivity of the animals increased by around half a liter milk, which is just simple 45-day supplementation. So basically, if we remove the irritant, if we remove that offending source, we can definitely would even maybe we may not need the external supplementation. So, dear friends, then later on we went on to conduct this latest media meet at SKUAST Kashmir, just to bring the media into the university. Through the media, strengthen our outreach, make aware the concerned people, make aware the journalists about the technologies developed by the university, make aware them, and they have the greater outreach, they have the great influence over the people. They can help in our technological dissemination. They can help in reaching us to the far and nook and corner of the Kashmir Valley. So we also conducted that. The very purpose of this event was to highlight our technologies and just reach out to the farming community for the benefit of the farmers. So I'll be just winding up the talk with this slide that, my dear colleagues, we will have to ensure the justice. We'll have to ensure justice with the animals. We will have to ensure their appropriate feeding. We have to ensure the citrus, the disease-free environment. We have to ensure that all health measures are taken care of. Then and only then we can expect the optimum productive potential of the animals. But very unfortunately, we are focusing on the productive potential. We are not focusing on the inputs. So we are basically making the animals suffer. Then we are extracting a huge potential from huge production from the animal. So to a certain level, they will increase. That will be there to certainly for some years. But later on, when the resources will be exhausted, when the internal resource of the animals will be exhausted, the production will fall. The animals will have more health problems, and if we don't maintain a balance between the inputs and outputs, definitely we'll have a disease. So I thank, I don't know the time, but I thank you for patient hearing, and special thanks to organizers of this 21 days training program for providing me an opportunity to share my observations and efforts, little efforts made in addressing the health and nutritional concerns of livestock. I thank you all. I hope you will join our endeavors in addressing the nutrition and health challenges. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for being with us. Now, if there are few questions, please ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, I'm checking the chat also. There are no
Okay. Okay.
questions.
Okay. I'm just waiting. No issues, sir. So there was one that what are the key strategies addressing the feed and fodder scarcity?
Yes, yes.
The key strategy will be to have the good quality seeds. If we don't have the good quality seeds, we cannot have the good quality fodder. Okay. Second, to address such issues, to address the scarcity, we need to have harvest the good biomass and convert them into those products that can later be used during the lean period. For example, I was talking about the maize. If we have good quality maize, then with a good biomass, okay, we can then first put the animals, we can put the green fodder to the animals, then the rest, that the surplus we have, we can convert it into the silage to be fed during the lean periods.
Any other question, please ask. Sir, I think there are no further questions in the chat also. On
Ji,
behalf
sir.
of the participants and on behalf of the organizing committee, I express my gratitude to you, sir. Thank you for such a lovely presentation. It was a pleasure to have you with us, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Participants
you.
may join back tomorrow in the morning session. Thank you.
Okay. Should I leave, sir?
Yes, sir. Please, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank you.
again.